You'll have heard the saying, you are what you eat. If that's true, then I'm 90% cheese, so I don't really understand what that phrase means. But what we do know for certain is everything that goes in our mouths affects our mind. If you look for a minute, what goes in our mouths? Food, obviously, liquids, tea, coffee, juice, alcohol. All of this will have an effect on how we feel. It will either be helping our situation or it'll be making it worse. Food and emotion clearly have a really strong link. When we're really unhappy or life is just too hectic or spiraling out of control, we might completely lose our interest in food. Nothing will appeal to us, and the thought of eating switches us off. And of course, the opposite is also true. We might eat all the time when we're stressed, and it can feel like the only comfort we get or the only thing we feel remotely excited about or have to look forward to. Turning to food to reassure ourselves wouldn't be a problem, but we rarely turn to cucumber, tomatoes and carrots. Unfortunately, we turn to the worst foods. Vegetables and fruit are ditched. Crisps, biscuits, takeaways, chocolate, ice cream then become our best friend. Other than the obvious problems overeating and undereating eventually causes to our bodies and our physical health, using food as a coping mechanism also changes how we see ourselves. We start to feel guilty, get annoyed with ourselves, criticise and judge ourselves, and maybe begin to hate our bodies and how we look. All of that saps our confidence and self-esteem. That would be a good enough reason to change the way that we use food. But there's an extra layer to this. We now know that everything we put in our mouths releases chemicals when it enters our bodies. And these chemicals will either make us calmer or make our stress worse. That's the only two options we get. Whatever you put in your mouth is going to contribute to either make you feel worse or it'll contribute to make you feel better. If we take something like, say, coffee as an example. Coffee is a stimulant. That means it fires us up, gets us moving and gives us a wee energy buzz. But too much coffee triggers the same physical sensations as stress and anxiety. If we want to feel less stressed and anxious, then it would be madness to pour coffee into ourselves, which is going to set off all the physical reactions we're trying to get rid of. The caffeine in coffee is the magic chemical that causes this reaction. But fizzy drinks, energy drinks, sports drinks, even paracetamol, all have levels of caffeine in them that are way too high for human consumption if we want to feel less wired. High fat food, high sugar foods, all have the same effect on us. Alcohol, nicotine, the same. They set off a chemical reaction that is identical to stress and anxiety. Now we don't notice because this downside isn't instant. They trick us by initially giving us the opposite. We get an instant kind of contented feeling or a wee high. But gradually, this chemical process turns into feeling low, tired, or heart racing and edgy. If these videos were about you starting a health and fitness campaign in your life, then you would expect changing what you eat and drink is going to be a big part of the programme. But you're on a journey to change your mind. And what we eat and drink is going to be as big a part of our journey as it will be for the people who are watching the health and fitness videos. It would be the definition of insanity for anyone to use caffeine, alcohol, or high sugar, high fat foods and expect that somehow they'll be able to feel calm, relaxed, and confident. The two don't go together. One fights against the other. So, we're here looking for steps that we can take to feel better. This must include everything that goes inside our mouth, or we'll never reach that feeling of being at peace with ourselves. Okay, I feel like I'm your dad now. But it's also very true, and such an important part of this journey that you're on, and there's no other way to explain it without sounding like your dad, so I apologise. But I also want you to recognise that feeling better means starting to properly care and respond to ourselves. And a big part of caring for ourselves means giving ourselves regular, proper meals based on the green stuff, the brown stuff, the orange stuff that the Scottish NHS campaigns are always trying to encourage us towards. So please consider altering what goes into your mouth.